Regulate that mustache.
It was Generation Kill.
Yeah. All right. Hey everybody, welcome to Here's Ed. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Paul.
And this time we are talking about the Disney release schedule that's just landed. Disney have merged with Fox, as everybody knows, and the Disney Fox people, conglomerate, whatever you want to call them, have released a rough schedule for the next 5 to 6 years, but with some very interesting stuff in the next 1 or 2 years in particular.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, we went through the list and we had kind of like picked out our favourites.
Yeah, so it's going to be on screen for you right now while we're talking anyway. It's going to be easier to show you than to tell you.
The whole list?
Yeah, why not? We can show you.
Movie magic.
Yeah, I know, it's great. Look at that. Production value.
We have a budget.
Well, we have...
We're trying with a budget. No, we don't.
We have Adobe. Yeah, so as you can see in the list, there is an awful lot of stuff thanks to Fox and Disney, who own Marvel, getting together. There's an awful lot of superhero stuff. We're not really going to be covering that right now because that's talked about everywhere. And there's going to be a couple of Marvel films next year, and then 3 the following year, and 3 the following year after that.
Yeah.
And thanks to Fox, you're going to have some X-Men stuff. But what we wanted to do was pick out some of the more notable or surprising things in each of the years. So for 2019, Paul, if you can take over while I lose my voice. Excuse me. For 2019.
So the ones, the kind of ones that I picked that I thought were interesting was Ready or Not.
Okay.
Which is a Fox Searchlight production, which it hasn't kind of really, it's going to come out in 2019, but we haven't seen any trailers for it yet. But the synopsis, as far as we're aware, is essentially some kind of woman and her family or her in-laws are forcing her to do some kind of, or help them with some kind of ritual thing. So it sounds like it could be a horror. As I said, we haven't gotten a trailer for it yet.
I'm going to go ahead and say ritual usually ends in horror.
See, I'm not gonna say horror. I'm gonna lean more towards the horror thing. But
yeah.
I also feel like it could be one of those kind of like, oh, it turns out that we're a bunch of wacky wizards.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true too. Well, look, not all rituals end in horror. But marriage is a ritual.
I am like 80% sure that it's a horror, though.
It just feels it. I'm going to give you the word ritual. So I'll throw in the one from the 2019 list that first one that stood out to me is Stuber, I think is probably how they're going to pronounce it. It's Kumail Nanjiani and Dave Bautista, so Drax and Kumail Nanjiani, who is brilliant. If you haven't seen The Big Short, his film from about 3 years ago, see it. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
It genuinely is brilliant. And he's a very, very funny guy. You probably know him from Silicon Valley. That was his big breakout TV show. Long story short, the synopsis for that one is he's an Uber driver. There is a trailer and it's in a link down below. He's an Uber driver and Dave Bautista looks like he is a rugged cop who's using an Uber to get around. Madness ensues. I think it's just one of those classic, this is going to be fun, good buddy comedy cop kind of thing. Yeah. Also, I just really like both those actors, so I want to see their career go well. So what have you got? A cough.
The thing that I got is the Ad Astra.
Yes, this was on my list too, actually.
Which is the Brad Pitt film. I don't know if he's the main character, but it's essentially the synopsis. It's a sci-fi film that's about a father going to Neptune to research extraterrestrials, and then the son goes after him a couple of years later trying to look for him, and there's some kind of like mystery going on about it. So it sounds interesting.
I put it on my list, and the note I had beside it was Brad Pitt does Interstellar. So I'm in for that. You know, hey, let's see what that turns out to be.
It could be a really good visual kind of one.
I hope it is. The next one that I picked out, so to complete my 3 choices for 2019, is very me. Nobody turn off. I'm not going to be talking about cars, I promise. It's called Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, yes.
And for all car people, the minute you see Ford versus Ferrari, you go, oh yeah, Le Mans 1966, because car nerds are like that. But for everybody else, it's going to be fun because it's Matt Damon, who is John Bernthal is in it.
Christopher Nolan?
Christopher
Bale.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Who worked with Christopher Nolan quite often. So
Yeah.
I think it all 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon itself there. So Christian Bale, excellent. Matt Damon, I think he's going to be good because I personally I like the guy. John Bernthal, who was the Punisher in the Netflix series, has not done wrong by me ever.
No.
And you have got the story of Enzo Ferrari and Henry Ford Jr. or Henry Ford II basically having a bit of a grudge match and using Le Mans as their way to fight it out. So it's going to be good. That's towards the end of the summer, I think.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So I don't have another one for 2019 because Stubber was also one of my interesting ones. So I guess we're on to 2020.
Yeah, what did you see in the 2020 list?
The new Kingsman movie. So I actually rewatched the Kingsman Golden Circle recently.
How is it on second watch? Because I saw it in the cinema and I haven't watched it since.
The soundtrack is incredible.
I remember the sound
and I really
being good,
and it's really got stuck in my head now. Especially the last fight scene, which is all the pretty ladies around the world.
Oh, a Beyonce song?
No, it's like a country.
Oh, right. See, I just realised I'm starting to guess music that I haven't a chance of working out. We'll probably listen to it after.
It's essentially a country song. It's done by the Kingsman version is done by a band called Hoss Boss.
Hoss Boss is a great name for a country band.
So I'm interested because the last spoilers, the last scene of Kingsman Gold Circle has Channing Tatum's character, who was part of the Statesman called Tequila, in a suit. So he looks like he's going to be joining the ranks of the Golden or the Kingsman tater shop.
And you know what I hope to do, and Channing Tatum could do with a win. It's been a little while for him. His career started to stall slightly, so it would be good to see him. Back in action, I guess. I'm down with that, actually. I'm into seeing another Kingsman. I really enjoyed the first one in particular. First one up on my 2020 list, Free Guy. And this is on your list also, I believe.
No.
Oh, right. Oh, so you left it to me. Good.
Yes.
Free Guy, in long and short of it. It's Ryan Reynolds, so check mark number 1. Everybody loves Ryan Reynolds. Don't lie to yourself, you do. Everybody does. But the synopsis, to kind of describe it, is quite difficult. Open world video game, but he's a background character. He realizes he's a background character in an open world video game. So think like bank teller in...
Like NPC.
Yeah, but for people who aren't into games. So think Grand Theft Auto, but one of the people who you're not playing as the main character. And it's going to be done in a Truman Show style, which I'm completely down for. So 2 things about it. One, you pointed out there hasn't been a Truman Show style thing for a while.
Yeah, because when the Truman Show came out, we had Ed TV as well.
Yeah,
so
and a few other kind of semi in that
meta kind of things. So.
Exactly. And the other thing for me is Ryan Reynolds has yet to have a box office smash that he isn't Deadpool or he isn't a voice doing just voiceover.
Yeah,
I really like the guy. I would like to see him get roles that are not The Bodyguard's husband or whatever the hell that film was. The Hitman's Bodyguard. Yeah. They're making The Hitman's Bodyguard wife or something. That's why that jumped in my head. We'll talk about that another time.
Really?
Seems like a bad idea.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
The other one that I have is The New Mutants. Which
yes.
is the one that we were discussing about it because it's been teased and a trailer came out ages ago, and it's been constantly the release date has been moved.
It had actually given release dates that then got cancelled and moved.
Yeah, so we aren't sure if the reason it was moved was because of the Fox Disney merger and they didn't know where the placement of the New Mutants would be, as in will it be involved in the Marvel list, or will it be more involved in the X-Men list, or will it actually just be a standalone thing? We also have a theory here at Hear Us Out that we might not see it actually have a proper release and might be moved to the Disney Plus as one of the first more adult versions or more adult content on that platform.
Yeah.
So,
and for a while there, we actually thought Dark Phoenix, the other X-Men film that's coming out after the Disney merger, that was possibly going to be the first thing on Disney Plus at one point. I remember we were thinking.
Yeah.
So now that's definitely getting a theatrical release in a few months, I'd say you're bang on the money that New Mutants may well not make its cinema release, but may end up on the streaming service. So we'll see.
So that's the New Mutants. New Mutants, not Mew.
The Mew Mutants. It's about small newts.
It's about Mew. Never mind.
It's a cat called Newt. I stretched.
By the way, that's a Pokemon reference there.
Oh,
Mew. Mew and Mewtwo. That's for just the Pokemon fans.
oh, I know Pikachu and Squirtle because they're like Squirtle's just a great word.
Charmander?
Oh, that's the dragony thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm terrible. I'm not a Pokemon dude. But I have to say their naming of stuff is excellent. Because the first time I ever heard the word Squirtle, I was like, you know what, you gotta love that word.
Yeah. They get worse.
Oh.
They get way worse.
I feel this video could go off the rails. Give me one and then we'll move on.
Well, Mr. Mime is a pretty bad one, and that's in the first 150.
Oh, good God.
And he looks like a paedophile. And you're going to see him in the new one as well.
YouTube etiquette always says that you should ask people to comment down below. How about you stick in the worst Pokemon name you know down below?
This one is like a Garbo or Garbjar, or it's a pile of garbage. And it's
I thought it was Greta Garbo doing like Pokemon. Gotta catch all the Gretas.
Okay, so that was the New Mutant one.
Yes,
So what's your next
2020, and I love our little asides. I hope you love them at home too, because we're both crazy people and we're recording ourselves in a room. 2020, Bob's Burgers. I have no interest in Bob's Burgers. I don't watch the show. It doesn't mean it's bad. Nobody give me any hate for that. I'm sure Bob's Burgers is great, but it showed up on this list and piqued my interest because it is, since the Disney acquisition of Fox, it's the first Fox animation that's going to be released. Disney have multiple animation studios in their folds because they bought so many people. Like they bought Pixar, obviously they have their classic, the OG animation that they do. They've got Disney Classic, they've got all sorts. This is going to be the first Fox animated property. I will be interested to see if it's the last that gets released, because this would have been made before the merger, probably.
Yeah, we're fairly sure that this was on the books before the merger, so it's kind of has to be released just because of the money that they spent on it.
Yeah, so they've probably did most of their production before the acquisition was even starting, or they had started production before the acquisition had even started.
Yeah, I think it's more they started production.
Yeah.
And they were just like, well, we've already dumped all much money into this. We're not stopping even with the merger, so...
So it raises the question, if a Fox animated property does well, can anybody think of any other Fox animated property that's really famous? The Simpsons. Will Disney end up taking a crack at The Simpsons? Disney owns Star Wars, they own Marvel, they own Pixar. If something's successful and Disney own it, they usually want to have their own success with it. Will Disney try and do a Simpsons movie? Judging by your face, and I will mimic that face, it's probably a bad idea.
Like, I don't know if because I have the reason I'm making the face is I think that The Simpsons should die now.
Yeah, a dignified death. Now, don't get me wrong, I love The Simpsons, but
as in I love a certain amount of seasons that they've gone through, but now I'm just like, it's kind of shit now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll either just be like, yeah, we'll just leave it alone, or we'll kill it, or let's try do our own thing with it. And two of those ones I'm like, don't.
Yeah.
As in continue on and let it run its course. I'm like, it already has.
Yeah.
Or let's put our own twist on it. I'm like, please don't. Just shoot it.
There's no disrespect to Bob Iger because he owns the FBI and can have any of us killed at any time. So be careful what you say about Disney and near recording devices. I think if there was enough money floating past, or he got the smell of money off like somebody wearing a Simpsons t-shirt walking through the office, I think you could find he'll be like, we can do it. The House of the Mouse can do anything now.
I love how you warned us about the recording thing and then immediately slagged him about money thing.
Yeah.
Okay, pal.
I know my days are numbered. Keep these recordings and think well of me. So yeah, that's Bob's Burgers. What have you got in 2020?
One more, which is the Ron's Gone Wrong movie, which
Say that
is
fast 3 times. Go.
Ron Gone Wrong. Ron Gone Wrong.
Good God, you did it. What is it?
So it's I believe it's a Fox. Oh no, it's a Disney production because we immediately, when we heard the premise, thought that it was going to be a horror film. So it's about a new toy which is being released into the world. It becomes very popular, but a 11-year-old kid gets one, and it seems like his one is broken in some way or malfunctioning.
Oh, Ron's gone wrong.
Yeah, and so it's essentially kind of, I guess, about the kid and that robot or toy kind of getting into hijinks, I guess.
We can only assume hijinks, or as you mentioned, we could also be sick people and assume it's going to kill everybody.
We automatically, like, you were just like, that's a horror, right? And it's just like, I understand that I'm the horror guy, but no, I don't think it's because it's been made by Disney, so it's going to be on 3 levels. It's going to be like,
yeah, there's something wrong with me.
Their release for kind of adults and kids, family kind of friendly one. Then, as I said, the Miley Cyrus level, which is kind of like, the teen ones, like, which is the only way that I can announce it.
It's still a visual that I can't get rid of.
Because I'm now out of the whole, like, being able to know what the new Miley Cyrus person is.
Yeah.
Is it Ariana Grande?
I think she's even like 2 generations from it.
Yeah,
we don't know who it is.
So, it's Zach Braff, right?
It's Channing Tatum's son, probably.
So it's going to be one of those, like, it's just a kids film, which brings it around back to adults because we've seen them be able to do that before. It's going to be that middle teen section, or it's going to be a family friendly one.
But in my defense and in our defense, none of us have seen a trailer. None of us know anything about this movie. Here's somebody screaming, "Ron's gone wrong," covered in blood, running down a hallway. Horror film.
Yeah,
it writes itself, Disney.
Well, they've been writing Chucky for quite a while, so it could be the new Ron, like, or the new Chucky of that,
Oh, good God, yeah, digital Chucky. Then my last one for 2020 is I had one note written beside this. I just circled West Side Story, and then I put a little hyphen going, Jesus, Steven Spielberg, what are you at? Because Steven Spielberg, for some reason known mostly to his own ego, is doing a West Side Story remake. I love Steven Spielberg, but he's testing my patience over the last 10 years. And I don't know, this might be the last gasp.
When was Super 8 released? No, that was J.J. Abrams. No, that was wrong.
Yeah, but it was Spielberg homage enough that, I get where you're going.
So
West Side Story. Don't do it. Okay, but it's going to happen end of next year.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So to kind of quickly round up, because there's so much stuff, we have... Yeah, sorry, was there one more?
I only have, not in the time, in the next year, we have an untitled Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Which is also the first time that the new Avatar movie is coming out. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of interesting.
For the kind of the beyond 2020, all I really had was that there's going to be a new Star Wars trilogy, and they're going to leave a little bit of space after this one ends before that one starts, which is a good idea. Then there's going to be one every other year. And in between, on the Star Wars off years, there's an Avatar on year. And when I say there's an Avatar on year, as you can see on the list, there's an Avatar every other year till 2027, up to Avatar 5. I'm not sure that's a good idea either. I don't buy the Avatar juice. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. See how it works out, but I'm skeptical and I'm not really interested, I'll be honest.
I'm interested in the Star Wars trilogy because they're the same writers, as you said, from
they're the writers from Game of Thrones,
this new season. But
Avatar, like, do you care? No,
not really.
I'd rather see a new Simpsons movie. That's how much I don't care about it. So thoughts on the list in general. It's interesting that they released this because obviously it's after Endgame. They couldn't really say anything before now. It's after their merger with Fox. This is their big rollout.
Yeah, but like my only thing with the list is like for the next 2 years we've got titled stuff, and then the rest of the thing we have a lot of untitled stuff. We do have like 1 or 2 movies that have been named because they're currently in production or post or pre-production or anything like that. But excuse me,
Paul's dying.
So like after for the next 3 years, we're like the only thing that we have in some kind of solid information is the Star Wars Avatar intertwining. Like the rest could change quite quickly.
Well, that's true.
Kind of thing. So after this year, I'll be interested in the year after, kind of the 2021 or 2022 kind of section.
Gotcha. Well, actually, and I did forget something that I want to throw in really, really quickly. Disney are very, very smart this year. They're going to keep making money hand over fist. They're doing going back to the well, and they're doing their live action Aladdin, live action Lion
Yes,
King.
yeah.
They're doing their sequels for Frozen. They're going back to Maleficent. Thank you. Toy Story 4, Frozen 2, which is going to just print money for them for the next few years anyway.
Well, because we've also noticed that for the next 2 years after, we've got a lot of untitled live action films. So
Yeah.
look through the library of Disney films and see which one you can pick out.
Live action Pinocchio it is. All right. I think that about covers it. Let us know what you thought. Comments down below as always. Like if you like it, subscribe if you could, and share with your friends. Hit the little bell beside subscribe if you think of it too.
Yeah, and tell us the comments in the comment section if there's any movies that we missed in that list that you're looking forward to.
Yeah, and if there's a Pokemon with a particularly weird name, I'd love to hear it. We'll catch you next time. I've been Patrick.
And I've been Paul.
And we've been... Hear us out?
Hear us out.
Yeah, hear us out.
There's a Pokemon called Milk Tank.
There isn't a Pokemon called Milk Tank.
Yeah, it's a cow.
Like, it has to be a cow if it's called Milk Tank.
but
Otherwise, it would be grotesque that they called something else Milk Tank.
But it's a cow. It's a pink cow with udders, and it's called Milk Tank.
So... You're saying that there's a fighting animation thing where a pink cow called a Milk Tank has an ability to fight other things?
Yeah.
Does it squirt milk at them?
I don't know. We'll have to look that up.
I'm going to look that shit up.